Good morning. So, welcome to the first episode of my podcast. It's called, and I just came up with this last night, Talk Like No One's Listening. Because this is episode 1 of a brand new podcast. So nobody knows about this. So nobody is listening except me in my headphones right now. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. So that's cool. I'm just going to talk, and then I guess I'll figure it out along the way at some point if this is something I want to keep doing. If it's going to be interesting to anybody out there. It will be just me thinking about stuff to say, and then I'll be saying it, which sounds like that could be incredibly boring. Kind of sounds boring to me right now, but I've been listening to podcasts in general a lot lately, way more than I do music, and I just really have gotten really interested in just recorded conversations, whether it's multiple people or just one person by themselves. But I think actually talking in person with people for long amounts of time doesn't really happen. I don't talk to anybody in any form of long conversation for more than 20-30 minutes almost ever. And I think people are so used to messages now, reading communication from each other, that there's something kind of missing from just people talking and communicating that way. So I just thought, well, hey, it's just people talking into a mic and then they upload it and then they have a podcast. How hard can that be? How expensive could that be? Not much, really. I mean, I just bought this mic. I'm sure you got to pay something to have this service to actually put your podcast sent out to all the outlets and whatnot. But yeah, I thought, hey, everybody's got a voice. Everybody has thoughts. Almost everybody can get some kind of recording device, microphone, and as long as you have the internet, good to go. So, about me, my name is James. I live in LA. I'm 36. I work as an audio engineer, working in music. And I've been doing it for almost 10 years. And I would say, I don't know, it's a pretty unique type of occupation to have. Excuse me. So I just feel like, I'll have some experiences that are unique to people like me, which is not a whole lot of us considering all the other jobs out there you can have, which is why being able to do this for a living is such a difficult thing. It's musical chairs. Almost literally, kind of figuratively, mostly figuratively. Yeah, trying to get in where you fit in. So it's fun most of the time, and really the other, like, I don't know, it's maybe it's fun for me 60-70% of the time it's fun, and that other percent is like existential crisis. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah, but then you have the good times where you're like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. And I'm glad that I am doing it. So, that's how it swings back and forth, for me at least. But that's I think it's a pretty common kind of feeling, at least with all the people I've worked with and come across and become friends with. It's a weird thing, yeah, to try to work on music and have it support you, and especially if you have a family, like I do. Because, yeah, there's technical part of the job where it's pretty clear to say, yeah, somebody's good at it or not. And then there's actually the bigger part of it, which is the subjective part of it, is do people just think or perceive you to be good or not in what you do. So a lot of times you may or may not be good, and you may or may not have success, and they might not be exactly linked as being connected, that as talented as you are is how successful you are. That's definitely not the case. It's much like, I guess it's just like the rest of the entertainment world. Filmmaking, for instance, it's, how many really amazing, talented actors are there out there? Lots. How many of them are all getting really good acting roles and having a good, thriving career? Come to LA, it's a very small percent. But there's definitely no lack of people that are good at it and know what they're doing. Same as with what I do. But it just seems like once you kind of get a name for yourself and get some type of long-term success, that's pretty rare thing to achieve. But definitely can be done. I'm kind of doing it. Need to be doing a lot better. But hey, that's for later, or that's for now, actually. So I started by not being happy with a career path that I had already started, which was working in film. But I was not doing what I wanted to do in film, and part of it was because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So that makes it hard. But yeah, you get a job right out of college, and you just think, oh yeah, I'm doing it because I got a job right out of college. That's what you're supposed to do, right? So I did it. Okay, I'm an adult. Graduated college, I'm working full-time, and I have an apartment by myself. A little tiny box of apartment, but it's mine. And that's about as far as I was thinking. I was like, okay, weekend. Oh, I get a paycheck. Oh, let's party. Let's live it up. And then a few years later, I realized, I'm really, really fucking bored of my job, and I don't really see what's next. What am I doing? Am I gonna just keep doing the same thing every day, showing up to the same office every day, watching my older coworkers who have been there for 20-some years continue to get older while I get older and somehow later become old like them, still coming to the same building every day? So I quickly just was realizing that I need to figure some stuff out, figure life out, figure just everything. And so I knew I had to start all over. Working in film, if you're doing one thing, I was doing post-production, visual effects, compositing kind of stuff, which out of the whole process of filmmaking comes pretty much at the end or close to the end of the whole final thing, when all the fun stuff already happened. It was already shot. It was already edited. It's already scored. All the money spent. All the time is spent. So people they're at the end of the line, financially and scheduling wise, of their film. So they're just trying to knock out this last bit and get the shit done. So no one really gives a shit. No one cares. You're not on set. You're not seeing directors or writers or actors, or not getting craft services. You got to go buy your lunch. Buy your own lunch every day, or bring it. And you just sit in a dark room in front of a computer. Click, click, click. All day, every day. I sat in a room with no windows. And the walls were carpeted with a dark gray carpet. Same color as the floor. So it was just in darkness. That probably was a big part of what, was starting to drive me crazy. Sunlight's important. I could never live in Pacific Northwest, I don't think. Definitely not Portland. I did live in San Francisco for a while. That weather was not as bad, because the city was awesome while I was living there. So, but yeah. So anyways, I thought, well, I want to be doing the fun stuff. I want to be creative. I want to do something that matters. Something that matters in the end result of the film. Something that is meaningful to the project. So, originally I thought I was going to be an editor. That's what I was trying to be. Which I just didn't know how to go about it, basically. You go to school, they teach you your foundation of technical skills and film history and things like that, and then you graduate and they're like, oh, thanks for your money. Good luck out there in the world that we didn't really prepare you for. See ya. So I knew at one point I was going to have to decide that I was going to change what I was going to do, and even try to still work in film, but to go to a different sector of it, you have to start from the bottom again. So I wasn't really looking forward to that, but I knew that was how it was going to happen. I was 28, or 27 or something like that. Anyways, I was trying to just not waste too much time. So I just had to stop and think, okay, if I'm going to restart, I'm only going to do it one more time. So better pick the right thing. So what is it that I wanted to do? I thought about, if I had to just think about, okay, what am I going to do? What could I do every day if I have to end up showing up to the same office again every day for years and years of my life? What could I be doing that would be interesting for that long? So I landed on audio and music related field, because I'd always been into music. I got into DJing when I was right after high school. My family had a pizza restaurant, which transformed over time into a nightclub, let's just say. So by the time I graduated high school, and moved to San Francisco, that was up and running. So I got to go straight from being a high school student to being a bartender in a nightclub that my family owned. And it was good times. It was good music. It was more of an underground kind of thing. We weren't like a bougie club, nothing. It was just a pizza place during the day. And then at night, it was just red brick wall building with a beer and wine bar and some spiked sangria and some pretty good DJs. This was 99, 2000. Excuse me. So, night after night, I got to hang out and work and listen to and watch from about 10, 15 feet away from me, watch DJs do their thing. It's hip hop, reggae, house, drum and bass, dance hall, just different stuff all the time. So anyways, let me try to speed up. I was into music, DJing, got into it, was working, saved up some money, bought turntables, started DJing, cutting, scratching, mixing, all that stuff. Learned very quick because I was just around DJs all the time. Fell in love with music through DJing, which, that's what ends up happening is you start digging deeper and deeper into music and different genres and history, and you go back and you just become a music head, which was, awesome because at that point, before that point, I wasn't at all. I was just listening to the radio, watching MTV. That's about it. I mean, I got into listening to a lot of underground hip hop in high school through friends, so that was probably the only thing that was a little bit alternative, where we're out, me and my friends, we go out to these shows where just local California dudes would be doing shows by some random spot under a freeway overpass. And you go and it's like 20 people maybe in the crowd. And after the show, the guys come out and they're holding cases of cassette tapes, homemade copies of their album that they recorded on 4-track. So that was something, to me, was a very interesting thing to just see people going about music in that way. Like, I didn't know it could be done that way. I didn't know it could be that easy, that you could just get some equipment and you can make an album at home and it can be good, even though it's super lo-fi, but that's part of the thing that made it really good. And I fell in love with the lo-fi-ness of that underground hip-hop scene and the homemade album, 4-track album. That was, when you take away all the technology of like a modern commercial recording studio, and then you just boil it down to that, then you really just are left with just your creativity in a way, because you really are not caring about any of the technical stuff, because there is no technical stuff. You just hit record and adjust a couple of levels. That's about it. And yeah, so after DJing, that tuned my mind for music and being of a musical mind and thinking musically, because I was trying to figure out, okay, DJing, playing music at a party, there are levels to that the average person just wouldn't ever consider. It's not until you're trying to do it, until you're in front of a crowd of people and you're in front of turntables and you have some records and you are trying to make people have a good time the way you have a good time when you're out in the crowd and there's a DJ that you like that's playing. DJ you might know or not know, but either way, it's the music that they're playing and the order that they're playing it and the way that they're transitioning from song to song. That's the stuff that has a big factor in if you're having a good time or not. So I had a chance to be around so many good DJs and experience just have really good times off of the music, and also get to enjoy and appreciate the skill that they had to be able to do that. And so I turned my attention towards trying to figure out how to be good like that, which, you have to dig down into, your creative part of your mind, and you have to start thinking about the other person. You have to start thinking about the audience and trying to be you while also being someone in the audience at the other end. And you have to just give yourself this type of feedback loop within your own mind, I guess, of having an idea of what you think might be good, playing it out, and trying to step outside of yourself to perceive it, and ask yourself, oh, does this feel good? Is this interesting? Is this moving? And that's, where it started for me, where I wanted to know, how do you make the person on the other end, receiving end of this, like it, feel it, love it, have a good time, want to dance, want to party, whatnot. I got into making some random computer beats, Reason, Fruity Loops, things like that, on an old computer that died many years ago. So those files are just, it's all gone. So that was before I understood file management and backing up. So anyways, whatever. But during the time when I was trying to make music on my computer using, software, I'd be making beats. And for me at the time, I was happy. I was having a good time. I was liking what I was making. But just when listening to stuff on the radio or anything that's just professionally made music, I was just wondering always, how does it end up sounding like that? Okay, I'm starting with some sounds, some drums, some synths, some instruments. What is it that's happening that these other professional people are doing that makes their music sound like it's professional music? And then that was the seed of curiosity for me at that time. So fast forward, graduate, get a job, work 3 years, get bored, existential crisis, try to figure it out. So I returned back to that seed of curiosity. So I decided to go back to school one more year to do music engineering. And right away, as soon as I went to go check it out, the school that I went to, I won't name it. They don't need any help. But as soon as I started taking classes and started learning about things that are just related to audio signal and things like that, I was hooked. I just felt really good. I was just really, really soaking up the information and really into it. And everything I learned was interesting to me. Like I looked forward to going to class every time and learning whatever I was going to learn. And I just felt I had made the right decision. And then once I started working, I got an internship at a studio called the Boom Boom Room. No longer there. Well, not as a commercial studio. The building's still there. But that's where I started working as an intern at the end of that school year. And from the time I started working, at least as an intern, I was making no money, of course, because I'm an intern. But just being at the studio, that was just another indicator for me of just feeling good, feeling like I'm in the right place, right direction. And so yeah, there we go. Next chapter. I'm doing music. Go from intern to being hired on as a runner within, I don't know, month and a half or something, which that's, I guess, typical. Some people could take longer, could be interns for a really long time. Go from being a runner to assistant engineer pretty quick. That's like maybe 4 or 5 months that happens. So that's kind of quick. Go from being assistant engineer to having to just engineer pretty much right away. Got thrown in the deep end. As soon as I got into that position, things got really busy at the studio. It was studio was just booked out, locked out for the whole year. We were doing 16 to 18 hour days. Yeah, work. And yeah, that was the deep end. So that's the best place to learn how to swim. But this is a different kind of swimming. It's not just staying afloat in water. It's actually like learning to play water polo in the deep end. But you don't know you're playing water polo. Only a few people actually know that you're playing water polo. That's something they should tell you when you're going to school to play water polo. But if they told you, hey, this is actually water polo school, you would say, I don't want to play water polo. So I don't want to go to this school. And yeah, and then they would have no business. So they have to tell you that this is just, hey kids, do you like to swim? Do you like water? Do you like to hang out at the beach? You like to have fun in the sun? You like to surf? Boogie board? You like to go snorkeling? But then, yeah, you realize, yeah, you're playing water polo. I don't know. I've seen a couple of water polo games. Doesn't that look fun? You're just swimming as hard as you possibly can, staying afloat the whole time. And you're just throwing a ball into a net. I don't know. Anyways, but never-ending analogy. I fell down my own rabbit hole. I gotta stop saying which is funny enough. One of my motivations for doing a podcast is listening to myself talk for extended periods of time, so I could figure out how to stop saying by talking and listening to myself on headphones with the intended purpose of having people out there listen to me talk. Hopefully by the thousands and the millions, so it could be a successful type of thing. You gotta speak very well and not say every other word. Oh, almost did it. Nope. Oh, shit. Yeah, it's tough. So, after I don't know, 2 years working in the studio, I was pretty much on the grind, lost any type of connection to the outside world. I was just working at the studio every day, almost 7 days a week. Pretty much all my waking hours were at the studio. All my meals were at the studio. All my bowel movements were at the studio. All my friends, which became my friends, were at the studio. People I work with, because those are the only people I saw. You form interesting kind of friendships with people when it's like that, when you're just in the trenches with them for whatever the case may be, the job may be. And when you're just working together and you're just all under pressure all the time and overworked, underpaid, and you form a bond. So some of them I'm still friends with to this day. Some of them, most of them, are long gone. This isn't a type of industry where people do last long. It's a very, very, very short lifespan on average. I just remember seeing so many faces come and go. Interns, runners, new ones coming every few months. New batch comes in. One by one they drop off. One by one they drop off. More and more they drop off. Even the people I started with that started before me, they were already there. One by one they drop off. Because water polo is hard. And it's exponentially more difficult when you don't know that you're playing water polo. But you're in the deep end. And you're seeing a lot of splashing going on. A lot of people hustling to get here, hustling to get over there, playing with balls, trying to catch those balls with nets, or throw those balls into nets. Throw their balls into the internets. Yeah. Yeah, so boom. Chapter 2, new career, working hard. Thinking once again, I'm doing it. I went to school for music engineering. I got a job. I'm an engineer. I'm working at a professional studio, working with professional big name clients. I'm doing it. Coasting, autopilot, complacent, trapped, again, existential crisis, again, time to quit, time to hit the escape button. What was that? Yeah, and then I had to figure it all out again. What the hell am I doing? So I gotta just keep moving forward somehow. Figure out what I'm doing. Try to move on and get another job. See what else I can do. But since I am now an audio engineer, and that's my current occupation, and that's what shows up on my resume for my work experience, that is pretty much all I have to offer the world, which is not really useful to the vast majority of the people in the world. What I do, my skills. It's completely useless to anybody not doing music. Yeah. Lumberjacking outside. Somebody's lumberjacking. They're cutting down something large. Anyways, I hope it's okay, let's just pretend it's not happening. Yeah. Try to get out. Try to find another job. Try to find something a little bit better hours, better conditions, better pay, of course. That doesn't happen. Meanwhile, still got to pay the rent. So, while I am employed, got to just keep doing it. Even though it is for slightly over minimum wage. Yeah. So, moral of the story, don't get a job at a studio if you like money. Or, yeah, no, just don't do it. Yeah. Good experiences. In the end, really good experiences. Some of the best of my life. Professionally and personally. Part of why I wanted to do this type of podcasting thing was because of that. Because I just had a lot of unique experiences inside that building, inside all these studio buildings that I've worked, that most people just will never experience or have any clue as to that, what type of things go on inside a recording studio, actually. And that's the whole point of a recording studio, is to be that private, discreet, low-key place where you can go and do whatever you want to do. It's, it's a recording studio, but it's part like a hotel with guest services and all that stuff, and you have your privacy, and you get to do whatever you want to do, and it has to be private because, of course, you need security for your work. You can't have other people have access to the music you're creating. I mean, it's bad enough that with the digital type of thing, it's so easy to have your music leaked. Because all it takes is one person with access to your files to say, oh, wait a minute, if I put this online, I will somehow be cool. No one will know it's me, but I'll know it was me. I did it. I was the one who leaked it, that album. So yeah, you get to see people be behind closed doors and act the way they would behind closed doors, which is interesting. It's very mixed as far as what type of things you're going to get. You get the people that when you meet them and you work with them, you realize, wow, this person is totally not what I thought they were going to be like. They could be way nicer than you thought, way more of an asshole than you thought, funnier than you thought, really, really, just really extremely annoying to be around. But sometimes they're super nice people, they're super talented people, super interesting, intelligent, enlightened people sometimes. Really into kind of conspiracies and UFOs, funny enough. It's interesting how often those kind of topics would just come up in conversation, just in the room. I guess just leave it up to people like that to be of a certain mindset that is really open to alternative thinking, because look at what we're doing. We're doing the line of work that 99.9% of the rest of the world is not doing. I've seen just lots of funny stuff. Honestly, I mean, I want to talk about it. I just can't say names. Of course, that's. I know that makes it real juicy. And I could do that if I'm, one-on-one, and I'm in a private room with somebody and we're just talking. But I'm saying this out to the world, so that's not good, because a lot of the stories are things people would not want to have out there about them. Embarrassing, a lot of it. Funny, very funny, but where should I start? I mean, I could dedicate this entire podcast to just every interesting experience I've had at working in music. Which I guess in the long run, that's going to be part of what it is. And then, being an audio engineer, I guess I could talk about engineering stuff. Am I like some super authority? Am I the man? Do I have Grammys? Do I have like all these credits and on my resume? No, not really. At this point, at the time of me recording this, September 25th, 2017, I'm not on anybody's radar. But I just do this for a living. So I can just speak from the authority of being me. That's it. But I'll talk about work stuff. Why not? At least I know what I do know is way more than the average person out there. The hobbyist, the person that's doing music at home in their bedroom, and they're just like me, how I was many years ago. They're just doing music and they want to know how to make it sound professional, how to make it better. So I could offer some info that could be of use to some people out there like that. There it is. Damn you, And why not talk about music? I don't listen to music really, so I listen to music way less than I would say most other people. And it's kind of maybe typical. A lot of guys I know, it's like that. But some people, they just love the shit out of music. They can work all day on music, love every moment of it, no matter how good the music is that they're working on. Just love every moment, which, I mean, that's a good way to be. Always be appreciative. But they're just obsessed. They can just talk on and on about music, work on music all day, listen to music in the car on their way home, just always be in it. And I can't, not me. Side effect of me working in music for a living is that I just don't want to listen to music a lot of times. It's like, I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but what I would imagine if you were a heterosexual male and you're a gynecologist, do you go home after work and does the thought or idea or image or whatever of a naked woman, does that interest you at all? Or are you just really over it? Something that, for anybody that's not a heterosexual male, gynecologists, just the word vagina alone is going to make their ears kind of stand up at attention a tiny bit. Microboner. Yeah, so anyways, but hey, that's what made me start listening to podcasts, because I just thought, well, I don't want to listen to nothing. Living in LA, spending so much time in the car, I don't want to listen to nothing. I don't want to listen to the sound of just my car driving. And hey, what's this podcast app on my phone? What's this? What are these things? What people? It's like talk radio. What is it? But then there's people that have guests and they're talking about different things and they're, okay. I see. This is what it is. Okay, let me check this out. Let me try a few of these. Interesting talk. Interesting guest. Interesting discussion. Ideas. Entertaining. Informative. Educational. Those are all good things. Combine them all together. Great. And then, there you go. I was like, well, this is exactly what I need after a long day of work, having music pounded into my brain. Most of it, I would say, throughout my career, I didn't like. So that makes it rough. But podcasts, very interesting way to communicate with the outside world, which, like I said, because of my job, I don't really connect to the outside world. But I always felt like, as a listener, when listening to podcasts in a car, I'm able to just be there in the room with whoever that is talking. It's a very nice, intimate, fly-on-the-wall type of feeling, where you just feel like, you're just in that room with them, and you just ultra introverted, so you don't speak, you just listen, but you feel like you're there. You're part of the conversation. You get to laugh with them and whatever. And I always, in my head, I'm just imagining, if I really was there with them, this is what I would be saying. This is how I would respond. This is what I would try to add to the joke. This would be my 2 cents. It's like whenever you think about a comeback that you should have said to somebody, but it's like a day later, and you're like, oh, damn, I would have got them so bad if I would have just said this. But I just totally froze and I didn't say anything. So that's what this is, basically. A very long, drawn-out comeback that I wish I would have said to somebody else's conversation on a podcast. Which, so far, none of this is that. So, it's early, by the way. I woke up early to do this. My daughter's asleep. She's a toddler. So, this is the only time I can do it. So, she should be waking up any moment. And that will be the end of this episode once that does happen. But it hasn't happened yet. So, I'll go a little bit longer. All right. Let me just, quick story. Recap. First experience of really engineering. I go from being a runner to being an assistant engineer. If you don't know, there is, say at a studio, the hierarchy of people that work there would be manager, of course. Then there are in-house engineers. Some studios have first engineers in-house, which are meaning you're just the main guy running the show for the clients. And then there's an assistant engineer, just to support that guy and do more kind of basic stuff, more just kind of take care of the clients, get their food orders, make sure they're comfortable, they have what they need, bring in equipment, set it up, microphones, whatnot, as needed. Sit in the corner on your laptop or your phone and just wait for something to do, because sometimes that's all you can do, and that's part of the job, is to just be an attendant. Oh. She might be awake. Find out soon enough. Yeah. So as an assistant engineer, when you're not doing actual engineering work, but you have to be in the session, yeah, you basically have to just sit there in the corner with earplugs, of course, because they're blasting music and you're sitting close to the speakers all day, and you have to wait for someone to ask for something. Client wants food. They want some Swishers, some Sprite with white styrofoam cups, whatnot, what have you. They want you to go pick somebody up. They want you to get them condoms. They want you to they want to know what the Wi-Fi password is. They want to know, can they smoke cigarettes inside? They want to know, where's the aux cable? They want to know, how can we put ESPN on the TV? ESPN, I don't know why. Everybody wants to watch ESPN. Fucking boring to me. Yeah. So, really fucking boring a lot of the times. But you have to, in that moment, are hidden gems of opportunities to do something, to learn something, to just get some worthwhile knowledge, to be the right balance of attentive and kind of in the background, kind of be invisible, so clients can just feel like there isn't a stranger with them in the room, and so that they can be free to do what they do. But if you can pay attention and just watch people and be observant and just take in what's going on and look for those opportunities where those little nuggets of info and experience pop up, say like, yeah, you're an assistant maybe, but you're working with a producer, songwriter, whatever, and maybe they know what they're doing. That's the best experience you can have if you want to learn how to songwrite and produce or engineer. I mean, you should watch everybody. There's just a lot of boring shit along the way, so it's very easy to get lulled into this real half awake type of mentality where you're just trying to get through the day and you're like, oh, how many hours? Oh, we're just getting started on this 12-hour session and it's 5 p.m. So I'm going to be here until 5 a.m. Oh, fuck. But yeah, that becomes normal. So you get used to it after a while. But that's also part of the reason why you get lulled into being half awake, because you are half awake, because you just you're just not there. But if you can pay attention, you are the fly on the wall. And you're better than that because you're a human and you're not on the wall. But you're there in a room and you get to watch people do what they do. And that's the thing that started me way back, was the seed of curiosity. It was like, how does it end up sounding like what it sounds like? And by being an assistant engineer in a studio, at a professional recording studio, especially in, of course you got to be in a major city, LA, New York, Nashville, something like that. You want to be where the action is, of course. But yeah, that's the real invaluable experience and knowledge and education right there. But you have to become a cat poop sifter on a beach, looking for cat poop. But in this world, cat poop is highly praised, and you want to get as much of it as you can. And when you gather enough of this cat poop, you will be sought after for your vast collection of cat poop. It's kind of like that Indonesian coffee where they feed the animal coffee beans and it poops out the coffee beans, and then it becomes the most expensive coffee in the world. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I would always see guys, interns, runners, guys that are newer to the place than me, come and start working and just hang out in the office and just do their job of being a runner and just stay in the office, make beats on their computer whenever manager's not around, and just hope that one day somebody's gonna see them and say, "Hey man, you make beats?" "Yeah, I make beats." "Can I hear your beats?" "Yeah, I'll play some beats." And that somehow some famous rapper is gonna put them on. That's the dream for a lot of people. And I would always tell them, if you want to do that, you want to get an opportunity, you want to meet people, you want them to know what you do and have them hear your stuff, it's not going to happen from the office. I know you don't want to be an engineer. You want to be a producer. You want to make beats. You want to make tracks. But you should try to be an assistant engineer, because you will be side by side with producers and artists and songwriters. You will see what they're doing, and that way you'll know why what you are doing is not it. It's not gonna work. Making beats from the studio office, I mean, it can happen. It has happened. But you're already taking the chances of trying to work in music, which is a slim to none chance of success as is, and then you're making it even slimmer by just staying in the office making beats. Where if you're in the room with them, then they really actually get to know you a little bit better. They're seeing you face to face. They know your name, hopefully. You have a far better chance to learn something from them, or at least have a conversation with them in downtime, during the downtime, and talk about, they might ask you what you do. They might be nice enough to actually hear something that you work on. And if you're good enough, something can happen. But the difference from being inside and outside of that studio while you're actually in the building of the studio, it's just, you might as well be outside on the street. Everything happens once you go through those studio double doors. It's all happening in there. It's not happening in the office. So for me, well, my daughter's awake, so this concludes episode 1 of, for now, the so-called Talk Like No One Is Listening podcast. Is anybody listening? I don't know. Will they ever listen? I don't know. But I did it, episode 1. I was meaning to get it done, and then today I finally got it done. Starts with one step. All it takes is one more step. But consistently, all the time. Climbing a mountain is just a shitload of steps. So yeah.